Hey, it's Matt Morris. Welcome to my 5-day training where I'm going to show you what I've found after 20 years in network marketing to be some of the most powerful concepts in existence today for helping you go from amateur to professional so that you can achieve the financial freedom, the time freedom, and all the other incredible benefits that come from our amazing profession. So, if you came here looking for a quick magic pill solution or some quick fix or feel-good fluff, you're probably not going to get as much value from this training as the person who is really serious about learning and doing what it takes to be a real network marketing professional. Now, this piece is very important, so please listen to me very carefully. The worst mistake you can make is to treat this like it's free. If you really want to get the value out of this, you need to act as if you spent $7,000, because the reality is just a few of these concepts I'm going to share with you over the next 5 days can make a very serious impact into your business. In fact, these concepts, this is what allowed me and many others to become millionaires in network marketing. So if you focus and pay attention to these concepts, your game in network marketing is going to be significantly raised at the end of our 5 days together. And as you're going through these lessons, be thinking, what value would it be for the people in your organization to learn these lessons as well? So if, and only if, you feel like it would add tremendous value to them, feel free to share this with them so they can learn as well. So turn off your cell phone. If you're watching this on your phone, set it to ignore everything else if you have that setting. And if you have the TV on, turn it off. Turn off Facebook, turn off your emails, and listen to me as intently as you've ever listened to any training, and this very well may be the turning point for you in your quest to become financially free in network marketing. So, I want to start off by sharing with you my story, because the last thing I want you to think is that I was some kind of natural talent. That was definitely not the case. You see, I got exposed to network marketing when I was 18 years old. I was in college. I was working for minimum wage as a banquet waiter. And one night I was working with a pretty cute girl who kept initiating conversation with me. And at one point she asked me if I ever thought about being in business for myself. And because I wanted to build rapport with her, I said, yeah, all the time actually. And so she said, write your number down for me and we'll talk business sometime. Well, I was pretty anxious to talk business with her. So I gave her my number and she called me a couple days later and she invited me to the Hilton Hotel to talk business. Well, I was really anxious to do business with her, so Hilton Hotel sounded pretty nice, so I met up with her, and unfortunately, it was a network marketing meeting. So, you know, I didn't get exactly what I came for, but I did get excited that night, because for the first time in my life, I saw a legitimate way for a young guy who was definitely not the best student to create a leveraged income and become financially free without having to work the rest of my life. So, I went to all the meetings, I went to a ton of trainings, and after 2 years, I sponsored 3 people, 2 of which I paid for to get in. It gets worse because one of those was my mom, who I never even told her she was in. So the one guy I did enroll, he was actually a waiter friend. He had been drinking before the presentation, so he signed up and then never came to another meeting. So at the end of 2 years, I had one person in my group, it was me. And it didn't get much better after that. So I went to another company and I failed. Then I joined another company and I failed. And then I joined another company and I failed. And long story short, I ended up $30,000 in debt, living out of my beat up red Honda Civic, selling above ground swimming pools in the 2 hottest months of the year. So listen, if you've ever been homeless, you know you develop a bit of a bathing problem. So I would actually bathe in nasty gas station bathrooms, and one night I actually showered naked in the rain in a church parking lot. So I'll share that story for another time, but they say there's 2 primary motivators in life. There's the desire for pleasure and then the avoidance of pain. Well, you can guess which one is the bigger motivator. It is the avoidance of pain. And so I made a decision that night, and I told myself, I said, Matt, do whatever it takes to get yourself out of your situation. Do whatever it takes to achieve success. Do whatever it takes to live the life that you really want to live. And I'd love to tell you it was all rainbows and flowers shooting out of my ass from that point forward, but the reality is I still had a lot of growing to do. I didn't have any kind of overnight success, but what that experience did for me was it started me on the process of reinventing my life. And I won't say it was easy. I struggled for 5 years in network marketing before I got to a full-time income. So listen, if you've ever been frustrated, if you've been pissed off, if you've ever wanted to quit, I know exactly how that feels because I felt it over and over and over again for 5 years. But you know what? Thank goodness I was just kind of like a hopeless dreamer. I was just too stubborn to give up. And thank God I kept investing into my education, because when it finally all came together, everything changed, and it changed really fast. I went from flat broke, working as a waiter in a steakhouse restaurant in Arlington, Texas, living at home with my mom, to earning over $10,000 a week within only 6 months. And what's happened is, over the last 15 years, I've been blessed to have been able to build teams of over 800,000 people around the world. I've generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenues that have earned my family and I millions and millions of dollars. I regularly speak to tens of thousands of people every single year. I've spoken in over 20 countries around the world building organizations. I've traveled to over 60 countries, vacationing in some of the most exotic places in the world. You know, we own multiple homes. We're able to send our kids to the most expensive private schools. We, drive exotic cars, get to stay in wherever we want, hotels around the world. We're stay-at-home parents, and, we get to give back to causes that are meaningful to our family. And because I never quit, and I found a mentor who taught me a lot of the concepts I'm going to share with you, my career in network marketing exploded, and it's led to the lifestyle that I really never even dreamed would be my reality. So let's get into some of the meat of the training, and let's talk about the basics of behavioral psychology and how you can use it to create lasting success for you and the leaders that you develop. And this is what I believe is the most important factor for your success. And no, it is not a tactic. See, everyone wants tactics and how-tos. And while I'm going to give you some very killer tactics in this training series, I think it's way more important to start with the foundation of who you are. See, the reason people fail in network marketing and in life is not because they don't know the tactics. See, if how-tos were enough, we'd all be rich, skinny, and happy, wouldn't we? See, real long-term success is about the inner game, and it's about your foundation. So I want you to write this down, and you can use this quote for the rest of your career in network marketing. To build a really tall building, you've got to dig a really deep foundation. So let's go a bit deeper than tactics. And chances are, the reason why you got involved in network marketing and the reason you're listening to me right now, it's because you want a great lifestyle. So what everyone is looking for, obviously, is the lifestyle, okay? Okay? So what comes before the lifestyle are successes. You go out and you enroll people, you have successes, you start creating a team, things like that. So what comes before the lifestyle is success, okay? And success to you, it may be earning a full-time income. It may be reaching the top rank in your company. It may be becoming a millionaire, something like that. So that success allows you to have the lifestyle. Well, let's go deeper than success. So where does the success come from? Success comes from actions, okay? So you learn some tactics, you set some goals, you know you need to do the work and go through the numbers, and the actions are where you have to be able to break out of your comfort zone. But for whatever reason, in many cases, you can't seem to get yourself to do the right actions consistently. So if you're anything like me, I used to focus on the actions, and I'd beat myself up because I just couldn't get myself to pick up the phone. I couldn't get myself to meet people, to get their phone numbers, to call the people on my chicken list. Maybe some of this sounds familiar. So since I didn't have the courage or the discipline to do those things, I'd beat myself up, I'd call myself names, I'd get frustrated, I'd question my abilities, and that, of course, led to the blame game. So rather than taking responsibility for my lack of success, I'd blame the company. I'd blame my upline. I'd blame network marketing. I'd blame my friends. I'd blame society's opinion about network marketing. You see, the blame game is the most popular game in the world because it's so much easier to justify your own failure than to take responsibility for it. So I'd go back and I'd wallow in my little cesspool of mediocrity with all my buddies who, every time I came back, they'd welcome me back. They'd be like, "Hey, Matt, come have a beer. Come watch the game. Come party with us." So write this down. Common men love other common men because they justify each other's averageness. So thankfully, I kept going to events. I kept investing in myself with books and CDs and courses. And, I eventually realized that if I really wanted to have the lifestyle, I had to go deeper than the actions. So where do actions come from? Actions come from feelings, okay? Actions come from feelings. So simply put, if you feel like picking up the phone, you will. You can call that motivation. Okay? If you don't feel enough motivation to pick up the phone to overcome your fears, you won't. But you can't focus solely on the motivation or the feelings in a lot of cases, because in many cases the motivation is only surface deep. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been to an event and you leave, you're all charged up, you're ready to go conquer the world, to only wonder what happened to that feeling a day or two later? It's like the motivation wore off. I think we've all probably been there. So external motivation is temporary, which is why we have to go even deeper than the feelings and realize that how we feel consistently is based on our beliefs, okay? So beliefs have to do with who you are as a person. So if you have a poor belief system as it relates to success or as it relates to network marketing, then any success you have is going to be short-lived. If you've ever seen someone who maybe they've had a lot of success quickly and then they fall backwards, usually it's because they never went to the foundation of it all, which is their belief system. As part of another training that I offer called Millionaire School, I actually have a whole belief recreation process that I teach, and I don't have time to get into all that right now, but I call it recreation because most of what you believe about yourself, it's actually doing more harm than good. So most people are walking around completely blind to all the things they're doing that lead to their own self-sabotage. So if you look at the middle three letters of beliefs, actually, L-I-E, you get lie. So our beliefs are nothing more than lies that we've made up as to who we are as a person. See, for years, I believed the lie that I was too young, that I wasn't smart enough, that I was too shy, that I couldn't speak in public, that I was a terrible communicator. See, these were all lies that I made up because of what is even one level deeper than the beliefs, and that is, we'll just put it over here, programming. Okay? So I had programmed myself through experiences, through what other people said about me growing up, and what I consistently said about myself. Once I finally had the awareness that none of those limiting beliefs had to remain true, that I actually had the power to invent whatever positive beliefs about myself that I wanted, and then use my system that I cover in Millionaire School for integrating them into who I am as a person, then my beliefs started to change. My feelings and my motivation weren't temporary anymore, which led me to create consistent action, which led to success, and which ultimately led to the lifestyle that I'm able to live now. See, here's the truth of the matter. If you don't intentionally create a positive belief system for yourself, you are going to live a disempowering one, which is going to lead to a mediocre life at best. Your belief system about who you are as a person has to be created by design. It's an intentional act so that the tactics really don't matter much. You see, when I help you build your core self into the person who is a powerful leader, I can give you the worst recruiting scripts in the world and you're going to have success. And if you don't build your core belief system, I can give you the best closing scripts in the world, some of which you're going to hear in upcoming lessons, and they're not going to work. Why? Because you're not the right person, and that comes across to your prospects. So coming out of this video training series, what I want you to focus on is the programming, because that's the deepest level of the foundation. And there's three main ways that you're programmed. Number one is through experiences. Okay? Number two is through external programming, what other people say about you. And then number three is internal programming. It's what you say and what you think about yourself. And I go into exact detail in each of these in Millionaire School, but for now, remember this. This is a training point I want you to keep with you throughout your network marketing career. If you build people, they will build the business. If you don't build people, they will not build the business. If you're not consistently programming yourself and your organization on a regular basis through personal development, your success is always going to be short-lived. See, most people will think of nothing about spending hundreds of dollars a year on fuel for their vehicle, but they'll invest virtually nothing in fuel for their most important asset, their mind. See, there were so many occasions where I didn't have the money to go to a seminar, but I was smart enough to realize that if I didn't invest in my mind, I would never have the money that I wanted. This is what made me a powerful leader. It was my continual investment into my mind. So write this one down. You can post it to Facebook, tweet it out, because it's part of the fundamental teaching of every million-dollar network marketing leader. Every professional will agree with this. If you empty your wallet into your mind will fill up your wallet. So that's principle number one. You've got to get your beliefs straightened out and aligned with the beliefs professionals have, not amateurs. So I hope this lesson provided some value for you. In lesson 2, I'm actually going to give you what is, I think, one of the fastest and the most powerful techniques to get your beliefs on track to becoming a professional. I'm also going to give you my strategy that allowed me to catapult my level of leadership, allowed me to create mastery as a trainer in network marketing, and it's what allowed me to go from being totally broke to building a team of over 10,000 people in only 2 years. I'll see you tomorrow.